If you're spending 4 to 5 hours or more every month pulling data from your business systems, throwing it into spreadsheets, and trying to figure out what's actually happening in your business, I'm about to save you a ridiculous amount of time. I'm Rob Fernango, and today I'm showing you the exact automation framework that I built that takes my business data, runs it through ChatGPT, and spits out a complete operations report. No manual data entry, no hours in Excel, just done. Here's the problem I kept seeing. Most small business owners look at revenue, maybe customer count, and that might be about it. Then if they want to go deeper, things like repeat purchase rates or customer lifetime value, subscription metrics, they either don't know exactly how to extract them from their data, or they spend an entire afternoon doing it manually. And look, that's not because they're not capable. It's because most platforms don't give you these insights out of the box. And turning raw data into meaningful analysis takes real skills that most entrepreneurs just never learned. So I built this automation for my own business. I'm using WooCommerce, but you can do this with Shopify or Stripe, your CRM, or literally any platform that can export data or connect to automation tools like Make.com or Zapier. And once it's set up, it runs automatically and generates a full report with about 30 different metrics. Everything from repeat buyer rates to trial conversions to customer lifetime value. And I'm going to show you exactly how this works so you can see what's possible for your own business. Now, before we dive in, here's the general setup. First, a data source. WooCommerce, Shopify, whatever platform runs your business. You just need to be able to export data or connect it to an automation tool. Second, an automation platform. Now I'm using Make.com with the core plan, which is about $10 a month, but Zapier works too if that's what you prefer. Third, you'll need ChatGPT API access. You need a ChatGPT Dev subscription, and you'll set up your own API key to connect it to your automation platform. And finally, somewhere to store your data and reports. I'm using Google Sheets and Google Docs. The total cost? About $30 a month. To save yourself 5 hours or more of manual work every month? That's a no-brainer for ROI. All right, let me show you the full workflow at 30,000 feet before we get into the details. There are 3 main phases here. In phase 1, I pull data from WooCommerce into Google Sheets every single day. This keeps my data fresh and ready to analyze. I'm grabbing 2 tables here. My orders table with product names, quantities, revenue, customer IDs, and then my customers table with all the detailed customer information. That's 2 separate automations, and they're 2 steps each, as you'll see in just a moment. Super simple daily data extraction. Now in phase 2, this is where the magic happens. And once a month, I've got an automation that reads all that Google Sheets data, sends it to ChatGPT with the specific instructions, and ChatGPT performs all the analysis. We're talking customer counts, repeat purchase rates, product performance, subscription metrics, lifetime value calculations. It's about 30 different data points. And in phase 3, ChatGPT will format everything into a structured report, and my automation drops it into a Google Doc. Done. Once a month, this thing just runs, and I wake up to a complete business report. Let me show you the general approach for pulling data into a format that ChatGPT can analyze. Now I've got 2 simple automations here. The first one pulls my order data daily, and the second one pulls my customer data. So let's start with the order scenario. Now this order scenario just has 2 steps. In the first step, the order scenario watches my WooCommerce store for any new orders. And once they're completed, the detailed information gets sent over to a Google Sheets file. And you can see that I've got a Google Sheets file set up that just has every field that gets pulled from my WooCommerce store and gets dropped into a pre-formatted Google Sheet that I had saved. The customer scenario does the same thing, but looks for new or updated customer data and then adds it to a different Google Sheets file. Both of these run once a day automatically. That means my Google Sheets always has fresh data ready to go whenever I want to run an analysis. The key thing here is that I'm keeping the data in its raw format. I'm not doing any calculations or transformations just yet. I'm just pulling clean data and storing it where ChatGPT can access it. If you want to see an example of the Google Sheet, This is what the data looks like in Google Sheets. Order tables with all my transaction data. And then I've got another one with customer tables It has all of my customer information. It's clean, structured, and it's fairly ready for analysis. Now, if you're not using WooCommerce, the principle is exactly the same. You need to get your business data into a structured format, usually a spreadsheet, where you can feed it to ChatGPT. Most platforms either have direct integrations with Make.com or Zapier, or at a minimum, they let you export a CSV file that you can then automate bringing into the platform. Now, here's where it gets interesting. This is my monthly analysis automation that does all the heavy lifting. This automation has 9 parts, and I want to show you actually how this works, because this is where you get to see the real power of AI and the automation workflow. So here's the flow. The automation triggers on the first day of every month, and it reads my Google Sheets data. Go ahead and move this over here. It starts by reading the Google Sheets for the orders, and it looks at one order at a time, then aggregates these together, and then goes on and pulls my customer data one customer at a time and aggregates those together. And then convert the orders data and the customer's data into a format that ChatGPT can read. And it prepares the data and sends it to ChatGPT with a very specific prompt. Now, ChatGPT does all the calculations, formats the results, and then the automation creates a Google Doc with the complete report. And finally, I get an email in Outlook telling me that the report is done with a link to open it from the email. So let me show you exactly what's happening inside the automation, because the magic really is in the details. So this is the ChatGPT module, and this is where all the analysis happens. And what makes this work is being incredibly specific about what you're asking ChatGPT to calculate. So let me show you the prompt that I'm using for this. You'll see here that this prompt is very specific. I'm not just saying analyze my data. I'm telling ChatGPT, here's the order data, here's the customer data. And now what I want you to do is I want you to calculate some very specific metrics. Here we come down here, we look at the output format. I'm very clear about no insights, no reasoning, no narrative text. I just wanted to calculate the metrics and present them in the report. So then we get down into section by section. What are the metrics that I want calculated? And I say you must produce the following metrics. So we have customer counts broken down by new and returning customers, order metrics for paid versus free orders. We've got product performance and revenue. We're looking at tables where we look at the number of products and paid orders, free orders, total revenue, average price. We look at customer behavior metrics, including lifetime value, total revenue, and order count. We look at some of the funnel metrics, converting from free trials to paid conversions, and then looking at subscription metrics for things like active subscriptions, monthly recurring revenue, and subscription cancellations. And then I go through telling it specifically how to format each of those sections and where there should be a table or not. So this level of specificity is what really separates useful results from garbage that you're going to have in ChatGPT. And here's the thing. ChatGPT is handling the calculations that would take you the hours in Excel to do yourself. So we can go ahead and set this up. And then when we go to run this, it's aggregating data across however many rows you have in your data set. Could be thousands of rows, could be tens of thousands of rows. Calculating the percentages, identifying repeat buyers, computing lifetime values, tracking trial conversions. And as you can see, it's done all of this and gets up to the ChatGPT section of this in just a couple of seconds. And it just takes a minute longer for it to work through ChatGPT's calculations, and as you'll see then, to spit it out into a Google Doc and send me an email. Now you might be thinking, how do I know ChatGPT is calculating all of this correctly? That's a great question. And that's actually one of the biggest challenges with AI analysis. You need to spot check the results, especially when you first set this up. I've spent probably 10 hours already testing this automation manually, verifying the calculations, making sure that the numbers matched up to what I expected. And I still have some more work to do on it. And that's the kind of troubleshooting that takes time when you're building something like this from scratch. But once it's dialed in, it's rock solid. All right, here's what the final report looks like. At the top, we have overview metrics, and I can see at a glance that I had 30 customers and 79 orders with an average of 2.63 orders per customer. Next, I get a breakdown of customer cohorts by month of initial purchase and average orders per customer. Below that, I get customer lifetime value with total number of orders, total revenue, this is the lifetime value metric, and average order value. I also get a number of metrics related to average lifetime value and maximum lifetime value for customers with paid orders only, or based on all customers, even if they didn't have a paid order. The next table shows order metrics, including the number of completed orders, total revenue, taxes, pre-tax subtotals, average order value, and the number of orders with zero versus non-zero revenue. Below that are product level metrics showing across the 7 products I have how many orders there have been, quantities sold, total revenue, and average price. I also get to see across products which ones contributed most to the quantity of items sold, as well as which contributed to the revenue generated. Then I get a geographic table showing my customers' countries of origins, as well as states within the United States. I can see the mix of payment methods used by my customers. And then I get a subscription metrics table showing how many subscription orders there have been, as well as the revenue generated by subscription orders broken out by initial signups and renewals. Next, I get trend data for revenue showing revenue by month. And last, I get to see my customer retention metrics, how many orders customers have had, how many are repeat customers, and what percentage of my revenue is based on repeat customers. But this is where things get really powerful. So let me show you some actual insights that I've gained that I never would have spotted just looking at a simple dashboard here. So we'll come back up here and look at lifetime value metrics. I've discovered that my conversion rate from the free trial customers to paying customers is only 5 out of a total of 30. That's about 16%. Now, this is lower than I'd hoped for and suggests that I need to follow up with my free trial customers to better be able to boost conversions to paid products. Next, if we go to subscription metrics, you'll see that my subscription revenue of about $100 is coming from only a few customers, but I can see that renewals make up about 3/4 of my total subscription revenue. So when someone subscribes to my membership, they're likely to stick around for several months. Finally, when we look at customer retention, I see among my customers with paid orders, about 16% are repeat customers. Again, this is not as large a percentage as I'd hoped for, although this might be due to having some test orders in my database that I need to remove. Still, there are fewer repeat customers. These customers account for, however, a large portion of orders at 68%. So that's good. I need to make sure that I'm taking amazing care of my repeat purchasers. So see, this isn't really just about having a nice bunch of numbers in a report or a pretty dashboard. This really is about uncovering the insights that directly impact your revenue and your strategy. And the best part is once you have this structured report, you can feed it back into ChatGPT to ask deeper questions. Questions like, what's driving my highest lifetime value customers? What are the biggest opportunities in my product mix? What's my optimal pricing strategy based on this data? That's the real power here. You're not just saving hours of manual work, you're getting insights you might not have found at all. All right, let me be straight with you about what it actually takes to build something like this. The concept is simple. The framework is straightforward, and I've shown you exactly what's happening inside the automation. Now, can you build this yourself? Absolutely. Everything I've shown you is doable with the tools I've mentioned. And here's what that journey looks like. You'll probably spend 15 to 20 hours total. And that includes setting up the make.com scenarios, connecting your data sources, writing and refining your ChatGPT prompts, troubleshooting the errors that inevitably will pop up, and validating that your calculations are accurate. Some of that time is just learning the platform, how make.com works, how to structure the modules, how to connect, the API. Some of it is figuring out exactly what you want ChatGPT to calculate and how to ask for it. And some of it is in the trial and error of getting everything working smoothly together. Is it impossible? No, it's not impossible. It's very possible. You can totally do it. Is it worth the investment if you want to own the system completely? Definitely. Now, I have 26 years of experience with data science and analytics, so I knew exactly which metrics I wanted to use and how I wanted to sort of structure this report. And clearly, I still have some work to do on the report. If you're starting from scratch on the data analysis side, you might need to spend some extra time figuring out which metrics actually make sense for your business. But that's part of the learning process. And honestly, understanding your business metrics deeply is valuable, whether you're using AI or not. If you do decide to build something like this, here's what to watch out for. Mistake number 1, not being specific enough in your ChatGPT prompt. You saw my prompt, it's incredibly detailed. If you just say, analyze my data, you're going to get garbage back. Mistake number 2, trying to send too much data to ChatGPT at once. There are token limits on the amount of information you can send. If you've got a massive data set, you might need to filter or aggregate before sending. Mistake number 3, forgetting that ChatGPT costs money when you use the API for each request. It's not expensive. We're talking pennies per report. I think this report costs about 20 cents to run, but you want to test with smaller data sets first to get everything refined. Mistake 4, not validating your results. Always spot check the numbers against what you know to be true about your business. I need to do some more of this myself here, obviously. So here's what matters. This isn't just a process for a WooCommerce thing. This framework works for any business data. E-commerce, SaaS, services, retail, coaching and consulting, whatever. The pattern is the same. Extract your data, analyze it with ChatGPT, and output to a report. The setup takes time to get right, but then it's hands off. That's the magic of the automation. You build it once and it runs forever. And most importantly, this gives you insights that you probably weren't getting before. Not because you couldn't calculate them, but because you didn't have the extra time every month to do it manually. And you might not have known which metrics to track in the first place. So here's the deal. You absolutely can build this yourself. I've shown you everything, the framework, the prompt structure, the logic. It's totally doable. But if you want to skip those 15 to 20 hours of setup and troubleshooting and just get straight to having this work in your business next week, that's what the AI Growth Accelerator membership is for. You get the complete scenarios ready to import, the prompts already refined and tested, and access to me when you need help customizing it for your specific situation. Plus, we're building AI systems for every part of your business, not just reporting. Marketing automation, customer analysis, strategic planning, all of it. There's a 7-day free trial, so come check it out. Clone the reporting scenario, test it with your data, and if it's not for you, cancel before the trial ends. There's zero risk. The link is in the description below. And look, whether you join the Accelerator or build this yourself, drop a comment and let me know what business insights are you missing right now because you don't have time to dig into your data. I read every comment and answer your questions, and they help me decide what to test next and what to create next for you. Hit that subscribe button and if you want more automations like this that actually work for small business. I post new videos every week about using AI for small business analysis and strategic decision making. I'll show you what's working, what's not, and how to get to the success that you're looking for. I'll see you in the next video.